I'm Sara Argijo from Texas, United States of America. Today I'm here with Yog Guru Rakesh Ranjan, also known as Yog Namito, to discuss yoga and meditation.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, very good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Let's start with a phenomenon that's spreading like wildfire across people of all faiths and no faiths. It's known as Vipassana meditation. Firstly, what is Vipassana meditation?
I'm glad you are asking me about this meditation called Vipassana. The word Vipassana comes from a Sanskrit word, pashyati. It simply means to see, to observe. And this is the essence of all meditation. The journey of meditation starts with watching and listening. This has been going on since the time immemorial. Nobody knows when this started, this whole thing. But the first time it was documented was Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, where Adi Guru or Adi Yogi, he's also known as Shiva, is in a conversation with Devi, Parvati, and he's talking about 112 methods of meditation. So first 5 techniques are connected to our breathing, observing the breath. But this word Vipassana is coming from Pali language, which was spoken by Buddha, the Buddha, and he expanded this. He experimented a lot on this meditation. He got enlightened through this meditation, and also he taught it to his disciples. And Vipassana is the meditation. Most people have got enlightened through this meditation. It's very simple. You just sit silently with your spine erect, observe your breath. And just by observing your breath, you will realize that your breathing and your mind are closely connected. So when you are peaceful, you breathe in one way. When you are angry, when you are fearful, anxious, your breathing changes immediately. And if you can just observe the movement of your breath, you will find out that your mind is calming down.
I see. So it's a lot about observing what's going on inside.
Yes. And this whole thing was scientifically explained by the Buddha in his talk called Satipatthana Sutta. Sati means awakening of remembrance. Sati means asmriti in Sanskrit word. It means remembrance. Pathan means awakening. Sutta is a small aphorism. So in this talk, Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha talks about how we can bring awareness in our daily living. And he says in the first part of Satipatthana Sutta that कायानुपासी भिक्षु किसी वृक्ष के नीचे या एकांत में बैठकर कमर से गर्दन तक एक सीध में रखकर अपनी आश्वास और प्रश्वास का अत्यंत सावधानी पूर्वक निरीक्षण करता है. Means a person who wants to practice awareness on physical level sits alone in solitude under a tree or anywhere. Just the only discipline you need to do is your spine is erect and observe the in breath and out breath with tremendous awareness.
You talked about daily life. So do you think this practice of meditation can help everyday people with everyday problems that they face daily?
Yes, because if you have any problem or any issue in your life, it's only because you are not able to observe your mind. And that creates all the issues in our life. So if there is a foundation of awareness, foundation of mindfulness in life, then most problems can be dealt with without any difficulty.
And what is the difference between meditation and mindfulness?
The Sanskrit word for awareness is asmriti or jagrukta, but there is not a parallel word in English. So we use mindfulness for that experience of awareness. Basically, there is no difference in mindfulness and meditation. Both are same. But you need to understand also the difference between contemplation, concentration, and meditation. Okay? So, what is concentration?
Focusing.
Focusing. So, you are trying to focus your mind at one point, right? But you have to understand, when you try to focus your mind at one point, so one part of your mind is trying to focus, concentrate, and the other part of mind wants to go somewhere else, right? So that creates a conflict, inner conflict in us. Same thing is with contemplation. When you are trying to contemplate on an idea, the difference between concentration and contemplation. Concentration, you are trying to focus on one object. Contemplation, you are trying to focus on one idea. Same thing will happen there. You have to remove all the other ideas and focus on one particular idea. That will also create some kind of conflict inside you. Whereas in meditation, or especially in Vipassana meditation, you don't have to concentrate. And this difference very important to understand. You don't have to concentrate at one point. Rather, whatever is taking place at this very moment, whether it is your physical sensation or breath or the movement of your belly or some thoughts are coming, whatever is happening right now, right here, is or has to be absorbed, observed. Means you are totally present with this moment. But what's the difficulty? Why can't we be present?
It seems that, seems like most people are often thinking about things in the past or thinking about what's to come, things in the future.
Yes.
How do you stay
So
present?
this is our current state of mind. We have hangover with our past. We are a lot of dust of past is gathered on our consciousness. And even when we are thinking that I'm in present, basically your mind is not in the present. Maybe physically you are here, but the mind is fluctuating either in the past or in the future. And that's the issue which needs to be tackled, because life is happening right now, right here, and we are not able to experience life in this very moment. Our mind is going always in the past and future. So
meditation helps you to be in the present moment, or must you try and be in the present moment to meditate?
both are true. If you are in this moment, then this fluctuation of mind into past and future will disappear. Or the other way, if the fluctuation of mind into past and future disappears, you will be in the present moment. Right?
And how does yoga come into this? What is the difference between yoga and meditation?
Yoga and meditation are not different. Meditation is part of yogic tradition. And so before Buddha also meditation was practiced and yoga was practiced. But at that time, before Buddha time, people were very physical. They were close to nature. They were going to farm, uh, doing a lot of physical activity, cutting woods, breaking stones. At that time, the physical part of yoga has not developed. So if you look at Yoga Sutra also, the first Yoga Sutra, Atha Yoganushāsanam, now begins the discipline of yoga. Meaning is, you are done with the external world. You have experienced the external world, and you are fed up now. As I said the other day to some of my students, nothing feels like success. When you are at the peak of your success, life loses all its meaning. So when you have come to that point where you have just gone outward and reached to the highest point of your success, you will see there is nothing. You have been just fooled by the social conditioning. So then either people become very depressed because life loses all its meaning, or they drown themselves in entertainment, alcohol, drugs, all kind of things to forget yourself. At that point, the philosophy of meditation or the philosophy of yoga asks you to turn in. Just take a U-turn. You have been engaged, you have been looking outside so long. Now it's about time you look in. Take a look in. Then he says, Atha Yoganushāsanam. Now begins the discipline of yoga. And the second sutra he says, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Means emptying the mind from all its content is yoga. Third sutra he says, Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. Then the seer, the witness is established in itself. So you see, there is no mention of physical yoga in the beginning. Only how to become the master of your mind and your body. So in that context, we will talk about Vipassana meditation.
We're going to take a small break and we'll be back with Yog Namito in a moment. Welcome back to our discussion with Guruji. So, is yoga a stepping stone for meditation?
I would not say that, because as I mentioned earlier, meditation is part of yoga. As Ashtanga Yoga, I say to you, Ashtanga Yoga, it is 8 limbs of yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So the 7th limb of yoga is dhyana, meditation. So it is not a stepping stone, but it's one organic whole. It's one organic unity. It's one organic unity. And that's how it is described in Buddha's literature also, that Vipassana meditation has 4 parts. One is called Kayanupassana, being aware of the body. Second is called Chittanupassana, being aware of your thoughts, the process of thoughts, not just asking what to think, but what is thinking in itself. What is the origin and structure of thinking? Same way, Vedananupassana means being aware of your sensations and feelings. Dhammanupassana is the awareness of deeper states of mind, such as depression, long-term, deeper layers of your subconscious and unconscious mind, which stays with people, which becomes their second nature. So, in this context, you can see if you want to know yourself, who am I? Any intelligent person will ask this question, who am I? No matter what I know about the external world, it will make no sense if I don't know who am I. Then first layer you can see, I am this body. Let's take it in a scientific way. Instead of somebody tells you you are a soul or your being, first layer we feel this is the body. So we need to become aware of the body. And yoga provides many asanas which will make it easier to become aware of the different components of the body and to align your body in context of different parts of the body. That's the physical part. Part of that, you can call it Kayanupasana in Vipassana terminology. In yoga, it is called asana. Then a little subtle part of your body is your breath. Becoming aware of the movement of your breath is called Anapanasati yoga. Ana means inhale, Pana means exhale. Remembering or observing the inhale and exhale is Anapanasati yoga. In yoga, it is pranayam. In yoga terminology, just the terminology is different. I do not see big difference in yoga and meditation. I think it's one flow, yoga and meditation. Being aware of your body, you will become aware of your breath. Again, Buddha says, your body, either you are lying down, or you are sitting, or you are standing, or you are moving. So he says, if you want to develop a quality of awareness at physical level, then you need to become aware of your body in these 4 positions. When you are lying down, remember that I am lying down, my body is lying down. When you are sitting, be aware how your sitting bone is touching the ground or the sofa. When you are standing, just see that the body is standing. Just observe. When you are moving, see that you are moving. Now if you go to yoga terminology, yoga is saying you have either poses, you can do sitting pose, that is sitting sequence, seated sequence. You have standing poses, you have lying down poses. Either you lie on your back, it's called supine pose. If you lie down on your belly and do some yoga pose, it's called prone pose. You have a spinal rotation. When you do movement, when you do yoga with a movement, it's called vinyasa. So you can see the connection between the terminology. It's one river flowing from eternity to eternity. Different masters have come there and added their wisdom to it. But it's one stream. You can call it the science of the inner.
The science of the inner.
It's not a belief system. It's not a belief system, because in belief, whatever I am saying, you just blindly accept it, then it becomes a belief system, something which religions do. But I am asking you very politely, doubt everything I say. You don't have to believe in anything I say. Doubt, but you can experiment. You can try. Sit 5 minutes by yourself, observe your breath, observe your thoughts, see what happens. Maybe you will start understanding that you feel more alive when there is more awareness. You feel more dead, dull when there is lack of awareness.
I see. So, science of the inner, you mean science in that you are observing something, experimenting something? Can you expand more on what you mean by science?
Yes. Science means you observe, experiment, experience. You don't have to believe in whatever is said to you. That's a scientific approach. It's evidence-based practice. Only experience you experience something or there is a solid evidence for something, then you accept it.
Mm-hmm. Often scientists try to disprove something, a theory, or try to learn more about it. Does meditation and yoga do the same thing? Are you trying to just search? Are you trying to disprove something, find something out for yourself?
But if you are trying to disprove something, then you have already believed that it's wrong. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's not a scientific approach. Scientific approach means I don't know and I want to find out something. I'm searching for it, but I don't know. I want to make a judgment whether this is true or false. So if I think it is true, I will try to prove it in every way. I will try to gather evidence around my proposal. Or if I think it is false, I will try to gather evidence around that. Both are not scientific. And a scientific mind is open mind, innocent mind, unprejudiced mind. So you don't believe in anything. Yoga and meditation is not a path for believers. It's a path for seekers. It's a path for those who have courage to experiment and observe that which is, not that which should be. According to yoga and meditation, the definition of truth is that which is.
So if yoga is a science of the inner, why are more people not studying it as a science? Why is there not a branch of science for yoga?
You see, it's easy to study science as an external practice because you are experimenting with the objects. In yoga and meditation, you are the object and you are the subject. So you are your own laboratory where all the experiments are going. And that's why it is difficult, because all our senses are opening outside. You perceive external things, you listen to what I am saying, that is also outside. So all our senses by nature are made in such a way that their direction, they are opening towards outside. But we forget that all the experiences are taking place in the inside, in the interior world. And it's very difficult to withdraw attention from the external world, bring it in the inner world, and observe the inner world.
I see. And that's what meditation and yoga helps you do.
That's what meditation and yoga trains you, educates you to face your inner world.
Okay. So coming back to everyday problems people face, you mentioned depression earlier. For example, let's say someone cuts you off on the highway and you become very angry, or someone says something mean to you and you become very sad or depressed. Would you say those reactions are aversion craving? How would you describe those reactions?
That's our natural reaction. If somebody said something good to you, you become happy. If you consider something pleasant, then a craving arises in you to have it more. Sure. If you think something is unpleasant, then you try to avoid it, or a kind of aversion arises in you, right? So these two things you need to understand. First is desire, and the second is aversion. So you can say you can use these terms also, aversion and craving. Mm-hmm. When you see something, a beautiful car, a beautiful man or a woman, there is a sensory perception. your eyes are perceiving that, till there is no problem, because you need to awaken the senses. If your senses are dull, then yoga and meditation becomes very difficult. So for proceeding in this field of yoga and meditation, you need to have highly awakened senses. So of course, you perceived something, you saw something, and there is a sensory perception. Till there is no problem. But then your past memory, your thoughts come along and give it a continuity. You saw a beautiful car, then your thought comes and says, I want to possess this beautiful car. And then it becomes, if you need it and you have money, you go and buy it. There's no problem. But then it becomes a mental occupation. You are occupied mentally with the image of that car or that beautiful garden or that beautiful man or that woman, and the biggest space of your mind is occupied with that desire.
Okay.
Same thing it will happen. If something is unpleasant for you, you want to avoid it. And remember, if you fight with one single thought, that thought will drive you nuts.
Can you give an example?
Yes. Let's say you want to forget somebody and you are working very hard. You had a bad relationship, you broke up, just for an example, and you want to forget that person. The more you try to forget, can you forget?
I guess I would be thinking about it, so no.
Just think from today, I will not think about monkey. Very simple experiment you can do. You will be surrounded by monkeys. If you don't want to think about something, you make sure you are going to be occupied with that topic rest of your life. You are bicycling and you see a ditch in the ground and you try to avoid it. Most probably you will go into that ditch. Right?
Only because you're thinking about it.
You are thinking of, because when you are obsessed with something, then you make your brain narrow, your mind narrow, and then instead of forgetting it, you will be only going there.
See.
So mind is made in such a way, because when you are fighting with that thought is getting more momentum, more energy. So then what should we do? Here comes meditation. Do not fight with any thought. Just observe.
So meditation helps you to stop craving things and avoiding things.
Both. Meditation means you are not running after something, you are not trying to avoid something, you are not running after something, you are not running away from something, but just letting things be and you observe. In the inner journey, you have only one resource, and that is, in Sanskrit it is called witnessing. It means just to see. In Pali, the same word witnessing is called Vipassana. Vipassana means to see things as they are, to see that which is, without any choice, without saying this is good, without saying this is bad, without saying I love this, without saying oh I hate this, without any craving, without any aversion, just a passive awareness.
Does that mean having no opinion about external things?
That's not what I am saying, because you need to have an opinion, you need to have a choice when it comes to external things. You are going to buy a cloth, whether you want to buy green shirt or red shirt or orange shirt, you have to choose. So choice is applied in the external world, but when it comes to the inner world, choice means confusion. Choice means you can't see clearly. So in the inner world, I give you one example. You are trying to understand what I am saying. What is the state of your mind? You are listening.
Yes.
And you are passive. You are not aggressively interfering in what I am saying. If you can do the same to yourself, that is meditation. Is it possible to listen to yourself without interfering in your own mind? If you can do that, you withdraw the energy from the thought process, and thought process starts becoming slower and slower. And a point comes when thinking stops and you are left with empty sky, which is you.
So you're trying to empty out all of your thoughts.
You are not trying, but it will be the side effect of your passive awareness. If you are listening, if you are sitting by the side of a waterfall and you are listening to it passively, then it brings calmness to you. If you can do that same thing to your own mind, listen to it passively, your mind will tell you the story of whole mankind, because you are not separate. We are part of the human consciousness. If we can just listen to it, you will understand the whole origin and structure of your own mind, which is the mind of the whole mankind. It is not your mind. So when you are observing your mind, observe it as if it is not your mind. Remove this word me and mine and just observe it objectively. That's why I'm calling it a scientific subject. It's
because
a science.
You're observing it.
Yes, it's the science of the inner. It's a scientific, foolproof, step-by-step path.
So if you are slowly removing these things, separating yourself from your thoughts, what's left?
All you need to do is disidentify yourself from this body and mind. If you can practice this for 5 minutes before sleep every day, I am not this body, I am not this mind. I am the witness. I am just observing it. I am the watcher on the hilltop. Then that part of your meditation will get locked in your sleep and it will get momentum. So what I am saying is, last thought before your sleep becomes the first thought when you wake up. So if you go to sleep angry, if you had a fight with your boyfriend,
Sure.
and you go to sleep angry, you will wake up angry. And maybe you will wake up angrier. Why? Because that angry thought, that angry feeling got locked in your sleep and it got momentum. Same thing happens when people die also. Maybe we can talk about it later. But that's also a very important area to understand. What is death? What is this source of life? This piece of life given to us, how to understand this? And what happens after death? Because without understanding death, you cannot enter deeper into meditation. Whenever you will try to meditate, the fear of death will haunt you. Whenever your mind starts stopping, you will feel like dying. And many people from that point escape from meditation. And they never do meditation. They will talk about meditation, but they will never enter into this unknown territory.
Because they're scared?
Because they're scared. Fear is one of the biggest factors that people don't want to meditate. And the fear of death, fear of ending, is one of the biggest difficulty in meditation. So we need to understand that topic also.
So what is the yogic approach to death? What do you believe happens when you die, after you die? What is left then?
You have never died.
No.
But that's my experience. You don't have to believe in it. You can doubt it, but if you just practice those techniques of meditation, you will soon come to realize you are not just the body and you are not the mind. But then what are you? You are the source of life. Your being, which was called also earlier soul, your soul and your being is the part of the cosmic consciousness. The life force, the very life force is keeping your body and mind moving. And that life force is never destroyed. That life force never dies. It just moves from one form to another form. So death is other people's opinion about you, that you have died. Most people who have near death experience, they see when their being comes out of the body, they are connected to this body by a silver thread from navel, and they see themselves separate from the body.
What do you mean, see themselves?
Your astral body, according to yoga, again, I'm saying these things, but at the same time, I suggest don't believe in it. You don't need to believe in any of the things I'm saying, any of my experience. You need to come have that direct experience yourself. Experience.
We're going to take a small break and we'll be back with Yog Namito in a moment. Welcome back to our discussion with Guruji. You said our energy, soul, life force, whatever you want to call it, transfers from thing to thing. Are you talking about reincarnation?
Again, if you ask this kind of question, you will make me say stupid things, which other people will find it hard to believe. Okay. You know, I don't like to say this kind of things because it's not something to believe in. Whereas if you go on experimenting with meditation and yoga, it's absolutely guaranteed that you will come upon this kind of experience, that you are not just the body and mind, but there is something inside you which is not touched by time, which is not touched by thoughts, which is not touched by even death and birth, which is beyond birth and death.
So are you saying not to believe what you believe or what you say, experience it yourself? Everyone experience it themselves.
Especially doubt what I am saying. Absolutely do not believe in anything. Doubt the authority, because this is not something, this is not a kind of knowledge which somebody can give it to you. The Buddha said, if you meet me in your meditation, kill me immediately. And there is a significance to it. Even the image of Buddha, even the image of your master, guru, is a hindrance in this process of observation and becoming aware. But if you ask me my own experience, it is not a belief for me. It's not a belief system for me. It's a reality for me, the reincarnation. In normal life also, you can see some examples. You have heard about Mozart. He was a classical Mozart, the musician.
Composer.
Yeah, composer. He was 8-9 years old and he was writing, composing such great music, which will take 80 years to learn, you know?
Sure, yes.
Yeah. So how at such a young age, at the age of 8 or 9, somebody can compose such great music? Even you take example of one of our most famous cricketer, Sachin Tendulkar. He was 10 years old. He started playing cricket. By the time he was 16, he was in the national team of India. How come a 10-year-old child gets such a skill? You can see that there is a continuity. Whatever you have been doing in this life and whatever you have been feeling passionately about will have some kind of continuity. You can take example of Dalai Lama also. they say it is his 14th reincarnation. So he has been doing these things. I find myself, I have been working with the same people, doing same kind of thing for many lives. But this experience comes to you when your mind is, the conscious mind is totally silent, through observation, not
through meditation.
Through meditation, not by drugs, not by using any kind of chemical, but through right kind of meditation, what we are talking about, Vipassana, through right kind of yoga, the mind comes to a state, the conscious mind comes to a state where it is absolutely still like a lake. In that stillness, you will have glimpses of your past life. Now you can ask me a question. What is the difference? How will you know the difference if the vision which is coming to you is from your past life or from dream? Is it a dream or a past life? I tell you how you can find out. If it is a dream, let's say you were dreaming last night that you are Queen Victoria.
Okay.
Tomorrow, the next day, you cannot repeat the same dream. Dreams don't repeat. But if it is a vision coming from your past life, it will come again and again and again. Every time you reach to that state of meditation, same vision will repeat itself. Then you know this is past life, memory coming to you.
So it's
I'm just giving you a hint.
Right.
It's a big science. There's this big science behind understanding your past life or going into the memory of your past life. And this kind of experiment should not be done on your own. It should be done under a guidance, because even to handle the memory of this life is very difficult. You understand? Many people are suffering. They want to forget their past. They want to forget whatever they have experienced. But it's very difficult to forget your memories of this life. There is a reason nature has closed that door so that you cannot remember your past life. But before you take that lid off, you must be established in witnessing.
In the present.
In the quality of being like a mirror. A mirror just reflects. It doesn't attach, it doesn't identify, it doesn't push anything aside, it just observes. And if you have that quality, then you can have all the memory from all the lives, and it will not disturb you. But if you are so identified with the memories of this life, and by some technique you open the lid of your past life memory, it will be difficult to handle all these memories flooding into your conscious mind. So my suggestion is, don't go into these areas too much. Rather focus on how you can be centered, how you can be more stronger in your witnessing quality, and then all the treasures are open for you.
Focus on this life first.
This moment, not even this life, this very moment. And that's the meaning of Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari means here, Om is the symbol of the ultimate, Tat means that, Sat means this. So that ultimate, which is symbolized by Om, is not out there, it's right here, right now, in this very moment.
Thank you, Guruji, for meeting with me and taking the time to answer all of my questions.
Thank you. Thank you.